Hello and welcome to the Rocky Values channel. This is a channel that preaches moral and the right values in the society. And one of the greatest things that give us value is education. But you will agree with me that for over 3 months now, all the schools in Nigeria have been shut. The gates are shut. The children are no more singing. It's time for the assembly ground because they're not hearing the bells calling them for the assembly. And they are wondering, how long will we remain at home? And I tell you, some parents are agitated. Some children are in their final year in primary school, in secondary school, in the university, and they are wondering, what is the next step? What about my ambition? What about my future? How will I do my WAEC so that I will go to university? Some universities are about to start the post-jam. I don't have my WAEC result. What is going to happen? So people are saying, reopen the schools. Rumors of schools resumption is everywhere. They are everywhere. People are talking about school resumption. School resumption. But should we open the schools now? Should the schools be reopened at a time when COVID-19 began to increase in Nigeria? When we have over 20,000 cases now, and every day the number keeps increasing. That is the question I want to ask an educational policy analyst today, and he's by name Joshua Arogunyo. Joshua, should we reopen the schools now?
Not yet. Not yet. It will be cataclysmic. It will be dangerous to do so because of the realities on ground, and the realities is that our numbers are rising, and it is not when the numbers are rising that you should reopen school. Schools should be reopened when the numbers have gone down, and then the hospitals are in charge and in control, and then the government can handle whatever cases come. But at this moment, this will not be the right time to reopen schools.
Now, some people are saying that in some states, in the FCT, we've heard stories of some schools reopening and people going in mufti, and so nobody knows they are actually going to school, but they still go to school. We have some states like Ogun State, like Ondo State and North State, where people say, hey, our people are going for lessons. There are about 100 people in a single room and nothing has happened. COVID-19 has not caught up with them, so why are we still keeping the schools locked? Are we not exaggerating this issue of COVID-19?
Well, I think we have to be very, very careful. We know that the cases in our various schools are not the same. I mean, our various states are not the same. Some states are very high and some states are very low. At the same time, I think any parent that sends their children to school is violating the law, and you're not teaching that child a good example. You're not giving that child a good example. You are imbibing into that child the guts, the effrontery to violate the law, and that is not good. That's not what any parent, no matter what the situation is. As parents, it's our responsibility. The first learning a child gets is from the home. As an agent of socialization, our parents, the home, is to facilitate learning and ensure that the role that child plays in the society is in consonance with what the societal norms and values stipulate. And so parents doing that, sending children to school through wearing muftis and all that, are not doing well. At the same time, schools reopening are doing that in violation of the law. The protocol says schools should remain shut for now. Yes, they may have gone to school 1 or 2 times and gotten away with it. But what happens when they go the day that they get the coronavirus? Not only will it affect everybody, it will affect the home, even the father, the mother who have sent that child to school. So we have to be careful. Obey all the protocols set aside by the Ministry of Health, by NCDC, and all relevant authorities, ensuring that our children are safe and they are well taken care of, and that when the time is right, schools will be reopened and then they will participate in school activities.
All right, we also want to look at teachers too. A lot of teachers are told, particularly the private schools, they are not being paid any salary. For months now, they've not had 1 kobo. And these schools are saying we can't pay because the parents are not giving us money, even for lessons. Some are doing online lessons, some are not doing online lessons, because parents say they can't afford it. And some parents are saying, yes, we can't afford it because our businesses have collapsed. So what should happen to such people? Should we not use this as an opportunity to say, okay, let us reopen the school and put in some measures?
Yes, there's that temptation there, but then we have to understand that COVID-19 has affected every sector of the economy. It's not just education. Health has been affected. Government has been affected. In short, income revenue generation by the government has been affected. Nigeria, we all know the price of crude oil at the moment. So what needs to be done is that it is just that people don't realize that this is a war we are fighting. It's just that this is not a war of guns. It is the war of life. Staying alive is priority. And so in war, I've never had where in the case of war, for instance, places like Syria that's been in war, people are thinking of going to school. No, in the war crisis, in the war situation, people don't think about school. What you think first is survival. And survival means that whatever you have as an income, whatever comes in, it is basically survival first. Food, shelter, and clothing. Government can now send in palliative to help to reduce the pressure on families at this moment, because this is a trying time, and these are trying times for every family all over the world. So we have to understand that this is a war situation. It's a question of life and death. Yeah, some people may have the virus and survive it, but how are you sure that we have the virus and then you will survive it? So it's about life, and precaution is the best thing to do. And precaution states that stay indoors, stay at home. You put on your face masks as we are doing. Keep physical distancing as we are doing. All those measures should be in place, and that's what our parents should begin to look at with education. Education, learning is a continuous thing. Even there's a statement that says the day you stop learning is the day you start dying. So it's not about when a child finishes the university that he has learned. No, yes, learning is continuous, and you keep learning. And learning is just like I've mentioned before. Learning is not an end. It's not the end point. Learning is the means to which you get to an end point. And so parents need to recognize this and begin to ensure that they teach their children at home, and that in terms of income, whatever income they have, it should be survival first. Use it for your feeding and upkeep. All luxurious consumption should be suspended for now, because we are at a war and our enemy is COVID-19.
Mr. Arugunyo, you seem not to understand. Our children are tired of being at home. They are becoming nuisance to some parents. Well, that's how some parents are looking at it. They are becoming nuisances at home. If they are in the school, they'll be able to take them more than what is happening now. Some are going through one kind of crime or the other. Some are doing a lot of things that they shouldn't be doing, and so on and so forth. But if they are in school, they will be engaged. How do we engage them now? How do we even teach them when they are at home?
Yeah, I think the average Nigerian parent, especially those that work in civil service, leave home around 7:30 a.m. and come home around 4:30, 5 p.m. depending on what city you live in. If you're in a high traffic environment like Lagos State, then you should be coming home far late. And so in between that morning time of 8 a.m. when learning starts in school to 4 p.m. when learning would have ended, or have ended, maybe if the child is doing an extra lesson, that child is being taught by the school. So what COVID-19 has afforded us is an opportunity for parents to bond with their children. Of course, even government institutions, ministries are not running in full capacity. There's a particular level and cadre that are asked not to come to work. This is the period for parents to bond with their children, and then this is where variety comes in, creativity comes in. As parents, we begin to teach these children. There are resources, tons of resources online. In short, as a matter of fact, other countries of the world have put resources, open source resources online for parents to teach their children. There are tons of YouTube videos for students to learn. It's not, even if you don't know the subject, like a parent that says he doesn't know mathematics, you can teach the children craft, sewing, how to cook, some other creative arts. There are things we can engage those children in, and I'm telling you, especially hands-on things that we engage our children. That, of course, if you ask them to sew a cloth and you teach them the process, maybe you have needle and thread, that dress is not going to come up that day. It's going to take like a week, 2 weeks, and so you have to engage them for that period of time. So parents begin to look at it from the perspective of what can they do, what resources can they bring in to make sure that these children are engaged and there's no lag. Parents that allow their children to be watching movies, of course they have to ensure that the movies they are asking these children to watch they should ensure that it is those that have been recommended by the census boards to be suitable for children. Parental guidance is needed. Also, it's not about movies to keep them busy, but about activities that will improve their learning, activities that will improve their personality, activities that is good for personal development. And like the saying goes, the biggest room in the world is the room for self-improvement.
Well, Mr. Joshua Arugunyo seemed not to agree that schools should reopen, and so there's nothing else I can do about it. But then there are some key takeaways from what he has said. Number one, parents, stop teaching your children bad values. The values build the society. If you are asking your children to put on their clothes, housewares, and go to school, you are teaching them a bad value of how to circumvent the law, and that may not be good for the society. Apart from that, it says this is a time for you to bond with your children. So daddy, mommy, and even the children, why not bond this time? Mommy, can't you teach them how to cook? I know some of those girls, they don't know how to cook anything, even to boil water. Some people don't know how to boil water. Some cannot cook ordinary indomie. This is the time for you to teach them the house chores, for you to teach them about values, about even family values and societal values. It's part of education. It's not just about the school system alone. So why not wait until COVID-19 packs its bag and go, or when it is far, far safer for the children to go to school? Somebody once said, he said, this is Nigeria, where we are in a communal society. Everyone is each other's brother. And so when they go to school, they want to hug one another, they want to play with one another. If you say social or physical distancing, can that happen in Nigerian schools? Well, that's a food for thought. Bye for now.